Hey up internet, and welcome back to On the Sofa Live Extra. If you're new, do subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. So, yes, welcome to the show. This On the Sofa Live Extra is my occasional live stream where I talk about all the stuff that I didn't get to talk about in the mainstream. And there are four segments that I want to talk about this evening. So let's get straight into it. The first news story I want to talk about is obviously the breaking news that former Tory MP Anne Widdecombe has been murdered. This is from BBC News. Man, 26, arrested on suspicion of murder after Anne Widdecombe found dead at home. A 26-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder following the death of Anne Widdecombe, police say. Devon and Cornwall police say a white British male is in custody after the 78-year-old was found dead in her home on Thursday, having suffered serious injuries. The incident is not being treated as terrorism, and there is no information to suggest it was politically motivated, they add. Police say it is too early to comment on whether the suspect was known to Widdecombe. When I first found out that Anne Widdecombe had died, I just assumed that she had died of old age. It wasn't until later on that it wasn't until later on that we began to get more information, that we began to realize that her death was suspicious. And then later on again, we learned the news that she'd actually been murdered. This is shocking. But it seems to me that this was a burglary that went horribly wrong, because the police are not treating it as terrorism. And they're saying that it's not politically motivated. So let's have a look at the footage of the, I can't get the words out. Let's have a look at some of this footage here. Police confirm 26-year-old suspect in custody.
A 26-year-old man was arrested at an address in Newton Abbot this afternoon on suspicion of the murder of Anne Widdecombe. The suspect, who is a white British national, remains in police custody whilst inquiries continue. Officers were called to Miss Widdecombe's home at Haytor by the ambulance service around 11:40 a.m. on Thursday, the 9th of July. Sadly, 78-year-old Miss Widdecombe was located deceased within the property. She has sustained serious injuries.
Yeah, exactly. I must admit that I've got mixed feelings about this. I did not agree with Anne Widdecombe's politics, and personally, I didn't like her. She believed that gay people could be cured. She was against gay marriage, and she was against abortion. But even though I disagreed with her politics, and personally, I thought that she wasn't a very nice person, I definitely do not condone murder. And dying of old age is one thing, but this is a tragedy. This is a murder, and I think you can hold two beliefs in your mind at once. You can disagree with someone's politics and have a dislike for them, but you can also feel bad for the fact that they've been murdered, and also feel sorry for the family that she leaves behind. This is Anne Widdecombe's last public appearance.
I've got very little trust left now in parliamentary processes. And if you look at this government, which has a majority on that committee, if you look at this government, look at the way that it's reacted when it's felt vulnerable, changes to political donations, cancelling local elections, we all remember that, going for votes at 16, loosening the voter ID requirements, you just name it. I mean, they react in such a way that is geared all around self-preservation now. Nigel is challenging that establishment, and he's called this the establishment versus the people, and I think that just about sums it up. And I'm delighted that he's taken this, because the attitude previously of politicians was that you just had to endure it. You gritted your teeth, and if you were being subject to fame after fame after fame and it wouldn't go away, you just carried on until your position became untenable. He's taking, and I drew the analogy with policy decisions earlier, he has taken this decision because he wants an end one way or the other. And he's right to do this. They're going to lack credibility if there's a by-election and a huge majority for Nigel. There's going to be a great lack of credibility if he's still handed and pursued.
So that was her final public appearance, talking about Nigel Farage's resignation, forcing a by-election, that he's going to stand in again. Let's see what Starmer had to say.
Well, this is really shocking news. And my thoughts, I think all of our thoughts, will be with the family and friends of Anne Widdecombe at this awful time for them. Anne was a distinguished politician over many, many years with many achievements. And it's a huge, huge loss. I've spoken to the Chief Constable this afternoon about the details. And I think this is really important, that this is a moment where we rise above any political differences, the political divide, and say the single most important thing at the moment is that all of us and the public help the police identify the individual suspected and make sure he's arrested as quickly as possible. He's clearly dangerous. And I implore everybody who's got any information in relation to him to help the police with their inquiries, get him into police custody. To that end, I've spoken to the Speaker of the House, I've spoken to the Leader of the Opposition, I've spoken to Nigel Farage as the Leader of Reform, and I've spoken to Andy Burnham to urge everybody to come together at a moment like this and to urge everybody to help the police.
And we now know that the police have made an arrest. They've arrested a 26-year-old man on the suspicion of Anne Widdecombe's murder. But this is an ongoing story. So, but I really hope, if if he's found guilty, I really hope that they throw the book at him. Let's hear what Kemi Badenoch had to say.
I've been stunned to hear this awful news. To be honest, I've really struggled to find the words to say. Anne Widdecombe was a very fun and feisty woman who spoke her mind, and she was 78 years old. She was an elderly woman. I don't understand how someone could do something so horrific to an elderly person. It is a nasty, horrific attack, and my heart is breaking for her family. It's one thing when someone dies, but to know that they've been murdered in this horrible way is just awful. The Conservative Party is reeling. Anne was a long-standing member of the Conservative Party. She was a Conservative minister, and then she moved to Reform, of course. As we know, I'm sure that they are just as stunned as we are, and I extend my condolences to Nigel Farage and everyone in Reform on behalf of the Conservative Party.
Okay. And yeah, I think I want to reiterate that even though I disagreed with her politics and I personally didn't like the woman, I still think it's wrong. Well, obviously, I think that it's wrong that she was murdered. And my condolences to the family that she leaves behind. I'm sure this is an ongoing story. I'm sure there'll be more updates as time goes on about this. And when we know the full picture, I'm sure I'll be talking about it. So watch this space. Excuse me. Okay, let's move on to the next segment. This is really despicable. This is a thread from the Scottish National. Hard right MP Rupert Lowe has sparked fury after dismissing the Dunblane massacre as one murder during a pro-gun rant. Sorry, I'll start that again. This is a post from the Scottish National. Hard right MP Rupert Lowe has sparked fury after dismissing the Dunblane massacre as one murder during a pro-gun rant on the US-based Joe Rogan podcast. Let's see what he had to say.
Radical change. Who perfectly legitimately like to go and shoot clay pigeons, who like to go and shoot game, who like to go and hunt. Effectively, they're trying to make that very difficult through the licensing laws for guns. As you probably know, they banned handguns.
The 90s, right?
In the late 90s, because there was a murder up in Dunblane.
One murder.
One murder. So everybody, my father used to shoot pistols for Oxford University, and he's dead now, bless him, but he had, all his pistols were taken away. The pistols he used to shoot with at Oxford University. I mean, we now have a society which needs radical change.
Oh, fuck off. We don't want to become like America, thanks, where there are school shootings all the time, where there's so much gun crime. It's unbelievable. I really hope that he doesn't. I really hope that he loses his seat in the next general election. I really don't like this guy. Let's look at some of the comments. Fraser CF says this: 17 innocents, not one murder. How dare you? And of course, he's posted the photos of all the children that were killed that day. Davina 582018 says, Dunblane was not one murder, for fuck's sake. Adams 7718 replied, no, it was a mass shooting, 14 kids and 2 adults, I believe. This guy is a piece of shit. Jules Sanford said, ghastly man, we are not America. Jeff Ashton too said, why are rich people so thick and out of touch? I'm not sure if he's actually thick, but he's certainly out of touch. Toddy McToddface said, fuck him. What a... Can't read tonight. Toddy McToddface said, fuck him with a red hot poker. Richie Gone Fishing said, Dunblane Primary School, the massacre killed 16 pupils and 1 teacher and injured 15 other children and teachers before the gunman, Thomas Hamilton, killed himself. To which Grakek 2022 replied, everyone in Scotland and beyond were stunned. Maxine Fern replied, I heard it on the radio and I could not stop crying. Those poor little ones and their brave teacher. Yes, I remember hearing about the news on the radio and I was stunned. I was horrified. And I think most people were. So for Rupert Lowe to reduce it to trivialize it by saying it was just one murder is awful, shocking, unbelievable. You know, it's disrespectful to the victims and the families they left behind. He should apologize for this. Fraser McCullum said, fuck Rupert Lowe and fuck Joe Rogan. Knox Dial said, Joe Rogan is either a complete dunce or a paid for shit stirrer. Claire's Rambling said, person who wants to kill things for fun dismisses the killing of 17 children so it can be easier for people to kill things for fun. Absolutely atrocious excuse for a human being. Post-Punk Pete 1 said, vile, absolutely vile, and yet his propaganda videos are constantly trending on YouTube. Show us the money, Rupert. Trevor 12 said, he's all yours, America. Perhaps show him why the UK has strict gun laws. And Kat Ging Sweden said, that comment is so unbelievably evil. It was a massacre. It was 17 murders. Evil bastard. What a stupid, asinine, thoughtless thing to say. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, moving on. This story is from The Guardian by Rowena Mason. Police investigate £37,500 donation to generic leadership campaign. Met confirms inquiry after elections watchdog referred allegations that donations in 2024 were from foreign source. They're all at it. They've all got their fingers in the till. They're all corrupt in reform. Unbelievable. Police have launched an investigation into £37,500 of donations to Robert Jenrick's campaign to become Conservative leader in 2024 after a referral from the elections watchdog. The Metropolitan Police confirmed on Wednesday that they were undertaking an inquiry after The Guardian revealed in April that they were assessing the evidence about donations to Jenrick, who has since joined Reform UK. The Electoral Commission had been investigating allegations that the £37,500 of donations to his campaign were from a foreign source in breach of electoral rules. A Met spokesperson said, "We have launched an investigation following a referral from the Electoral Commission on Tuesday the 6th of January concerning donations connected to a political party's leadership campaign. The investigation remains ongoing." These people seem to think it's one rule for them and a different rule for everybody else. They seem to think that the rules and the law of the land don't apply to them. They seem to think that they can just do anything they want with impunity and get away with it. So I'm glad that the net seems to be closing in on reform, on Nigel Farage, and now Robert Jenrick as well. In response, Jenrick said the allegations are entirely false, but it is no surprise that an establishment determined to stop reform from delivering the change that this country so desperately needs would resort to making these demonstrably untrue claims. Well, he's bound to say that, isn't he? He's bound to deny them, isn't he? But I can't help but think that since the Metropolitan Police are investigating this, there's got to be something in them. But I guess time will tell. The truth will out. Robert Jenrick added, "I have no contact with the Met Police whatsoever in connection with this matter. Not at the moment, but I'm sure that will change in time. The exact scope of the investigation is unclear, and the police have not confirmed whether it relates to any specific individual. The revelation that Jenrick's political financing is under police scrutiny, first reported by the I-Paper, will be embarrassing for the senior Reform politician as the party grapples with separate allegations about leader Nigel Farage's funding. I think all the reform leaders should be investigated. I think it wouldn't surprise me if they've all got their fingers in the till one way or the other. I think they all need to be investigated. The Guardian previously established that the Electoral Commission received allegations relating to donations to Genric by a UK-based company, the Spot Fitness. It is understood that the electoral investigation centred on claims that £37,500 out of the £100,000 in donations from the Spot Fitness was ultimately given by the US businessman Gary Klopfenstein via a US company he founded called Innovz UK. The allegations made to the Electoral Commission raised questions about whether the donations were permissible within electoral law, given that foreign companies and individuals are not allowed to donate to UK politicians or parties. Yes, that's very interesting. Genric had previously said he and his campaign team had complied with all electoral laws and that he had no knowledge of whether Klopfenstein was behind some of the donation, and that he had never had any contact with him or been aware of any alleged connection with the Spot Fitness donation until the Electoral Commission made inquiries. Yeah, right, Paul the other one. A spokesperson for Philip Ullman, a UK businessman previously thought to have been the ultimate source of donations made through the Spot Fitness, had no comment. In April, he said he was transparent with Genric's campaign and voluntarily gave information to the Electoral Commission. In 2024, Genric was a Conservative MP, raising funds for a possible leadership run to take over from Rishi Sunak, but he has since defected to Reform and is now Farage's Treasury spokesperson. Kevin Hollinrake, chair of the Conservative Party, said the Electoral Commission rightly referred this matter to the Metropolitan Police, who are now investigating. The public deserves the truth about this donation. And he's right, we do deserve the truth about this. I really hope the truth comes to light. I really hope that the truth comes to light about this. I'm sure that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I've got a feeling more revelations are going to come out. It's only a matter of time, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, one more story, and then I'll call it a night. This is from The Canary by Willem Moore. Polanski calls out Tommy Robinson's homophobic tirade. On the 4th of July, Zach Polanski called out politicians who dance at Pride only to oppose LGBTQ+ rights. He posted this: Pride is a protest, and there's a lot to protest. The tiny street fascist Tommy Robinson is among those who criticise Polanski. In turn, Robinson has drawn fresh attention to his own past. Polanski, Pride is a Protest. Writing for The Independent, Polanski said, "From the outside, Pride can often look like one big party. Rainbow flags, face paint, fabulous outfits, and a bit of a disco. And as someone who enjoys a dance, there's nothing wrong with that. Moments of shared joy in clubs, on dance floors, and at parties are so important for our community, for coming together in the face of hatred, discrimination, and attempts to divide us. But it's important to remember that fundamentally, Pride is a protest movement. It started in New York in 1969 in response to police harassment and brutality at the Stonewall Inn after police repeatedly raided the small gay dive bar under the guise of discriminatory laws. Tommy Robinson responded as follows, with Polanski's subsequent response above it. Tommy Robinson said this, "It's about seducing children and cutting off their dicks and breasts." What the fuck? Jesus Christ. It's not a protest. It's industrial scale child mutilation, chemical castration, and noncing. Take your queer agenda and fuck right off, mate, you weirdo. Jesus Christ. That is strong language. What a horrible person. To which Zach Polanski replied, "This is exactly why we have Pride. Because a few years ago, this would have just been a few hateful fringe figures. But this is where our politics is heading with a government that curtails. We will resist and bring hope, and electing progressive politicians, we will win." The idea that they're mutilating or chemically castrating children is nonsense, of course. The noncing allegation is interesting, though, given the following. This is a tweet from Gadget. Tommy Robinson still has said nothing about his associate Ben Cullen facing trial for downloading over 70 indecent images of children. He has proven time and time again that he has no issues with people harming women or children if they are white or his mates. And there's a photograph of the two of them together there. Cullen is part of Operation Raise the Colours, with Robinson later claiming not to know the man. Mukhtar posted this. Tommy Robinson has finally commented on the allegations involving Ben Cullen from Raise the Colours. Apparently, he has never met him. Also, notice how he gives him grace. He's in court, so I don't know how much you can comment on it because he hasn't been convicted yet. Tommy Robinson, he never gives the same grace when the suspect isn't white. Yeah, that's a good point. And he posted a video as well.
So here we are as promised. Here's my questions. First one, what's the situation with the nonce? A lot of people are saying you're in a lot of pictures with this guy.
Oh, this Ben Cullen.
That's right.
Okay.
Can you give me some info on that,
I go
please?
to a demonstration, people ask me for pictures, I've just took 5 pictures there, I don't know who the people are. Yeah? I've never spoke to this bloke, don't have this bloke's number. He's part of Raise the Colours, yeah? He's in court. I don't know how much you can comment on it because he hasn't been convicted yet. It doesn't read very well, sounds terrible, sounds like we'll see how it plays out. I've never met the cunt, yeah? So I don't know him. If he is a nonce, hang the cunt, right? That's it. I don't know him. Loads of people ask for pictures of me everywhere I go.
Cool. So here we are.
And I'll let you make of that what you will. Robinson has extensive links to men accused of or found guilty of sex crimes, including Errol Musk, Andrew Tate, Conor McGregor, and many others. Mukhtar posted this. This is a long post about the far right who claim to care about protecting women and girls while also presenting themselves as law-abiding citizens. A pattern is emerging. Tommy Robinson has been friends with at least 20 EDL members who were convicted of child sexual... Hang on. Tommy Robinson has been friends with at least 20 EDL members who were convicted of child sexual exploitation offences. He has also been jailed 5 times, including assaulting a police officer who intervened during a domestic incident on a night out. Conor McGregor was found liable in a civil rape case. A forensic examiner testified that Nikita Hand sustained extensive bruising and that forceps were needed to remove a tampon lodged deep inside her. Russell Brand faces 7 charges, including 3 counts of rape, 3 counts of sexual assault, and 1 count of indecent assault involving 6 women. Raise the Colours. Ben Cullen is on trial for making indecent images of children. Ryan Bridge is on bail on suspicion of religiously and racially aggravated harassment. Ryan Bridge, I've read that one. Billy Addison, a founding member of Raise the Colours, is on remand charged with murder. Danny Tamo was jailed for 2 years after pleading guilty to an attempted knife-point kidnapping during a drugs dispute. He kidnapped the wrong person. 21% of the 949 people arrested during the racist riots in 2024 have since been reported to police for domestic abuse, while 40% had already been reported for domestic abuse before the riots. Yes, there does seem to be a pattern emerging, doesn't there? Revealing. Polanski also retweeted a post which read, "Considering Robinson has been documented as messaging young men on Grindr and accidentally revealing that his algorithm is attuned to gay adverts, I think he doth protest too much." There was also this from Evie. Him getting this ad makes even more sense now. No wonder he deleted the tweet. Tommy Robinson tweeted this. Well, Keir Starmer wants to heavily regulate, if not ban, X outright because of weak content moderation. I wonder what he thinks of YouTube ads that advertise gay love with no age limit. Let's be realistic. He wants to control X content because he fears it. He hates. And there's an advert for gay love, no age limit. Single gay men online. Interesting. If Robertson doesn't want UK political leaders to accuse him of being a closeted man, he should probably stop giving everyone call to remember his past posts. It's certainly not the case that all homophobes are secretly closeted men, but many right-wingers do love to do the things they tell others they should not. Anyway, Palensky was right to say that Pride is still a protest, and Robertson is precisely the sort of rat being protested against. Yeah, Zach Palensky was right to call out Tommy Robinson. He's a nasty, vicious piece of work. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Well, that just about wraps things up for tonight. If you've made it this far, do subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye for now.